songs. How like being poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls on broken passes inundated or that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
Now I'm VAWLS JP.
And we are coming to you with another video because today, all kinds of coaching rumors. Also, more guys entering the transfer portal. It seems to be every single day. That's what we're talking about. Another player into the portal. But also tomorrow, may be the biggest day in Jeremy Pruitt's career as a head coach. Agree?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's when he meets with these attorneys, supposedly.
I think it's funny because I posted about the Kevin Steele hire yesterday on Facebook and said something along the lines of, does this mean Jeremy Pruitt's back? Because there's a lot of weird things about that hire. And I talked about it in the video yesterday. And the casual fan is like, well, of course he's back. It's January. Of course he's back. That's not necessarily the case. Tomorrow, Jeremy Pruitt will sit down and answer questions of attorneys. And what's going to be interesting is because assistant coaches have been interviewed. I think these attorneys have all their ducks in a row. And if Jeremy Pruitt lies, he is done. If he tells the truth, he may be safe, but Tennessee may be in trouble. How important is this meeting tomorrow, this interview?
Well, I guess the first thing, Boogie, that I just do not understand about this timeline is that, you know, all of this came out right before the Texas A&M game, December the 19th. But then we heard that the investigation was going on in November. Why is it now going to be January the 14th and they are just now talking to the head coach? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't understand the timeline of any of this. And I mean, I know that they had to get information and all that stuff, but it just doesn't seem right to me. It just seems like everything is just completely backwards.
And when you look at VolQuest, you're talking about attorneys that are getting paid. What is it? $500, $600
somebody said,
an hour?
Yeah. I think it was Brent Hubb said $500 an hour. I mean, $500 an hour. I mean, it's just
over
crazy.
2 months. Over 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. And I mean, it's like, well, why didn't they like talk to him sooner? I mean, and I don't know. Maybe that's how all these legal proceedings go and investigations go. I don't know. I'm just a casual fan that just kind of just obviously looks at it from a very far away without any inside information. But it just doesn't make any sense to me why that they're just now getting to talk to Pruitt. But yeah, I mean, and you know, that Steele hire. I mean, just for example, say that they do find something that they feel like that there's no way that they can keep Pruitt. So basically, when you hired Kevin Steele, well, then that tells me right there that it's going to be some up-and-comer, some no-name that takes over, and unless it is Kevin Steele as the coach, because there's not going to be a coach worth their salt that is going to agree to keep people on staff. Say for example, you have to keep Kevin Steele on staff. I don't care how good of a coach that Kevin Steele is. It's more than that. It's the comfort level with those coaches. It's agreeing with their philosophies, what kind of systems that they run, all of that stuff. So that doesn't make any sense. And again, you know, I thought at this point in time, where this football program is, I think hiring Kevin Steele was great. But to me, I look at it and say that tells me, I don't know how else to believe it, but Pruitt is coming back. But then again, why are they paying $500 an hour to have all these attorneys down there to investigate this? Again, the administration and all that just makes doesn't make any kind of sense to me.
Yeah, and I put the video out yesterday, and it was right after the news. And again, we talked about it during the live stream that they were working on the deal with Kevin Steele. But still, the news breaks. I make the video immediately, and then you kind of have time to unpack everything after that. And reading a lot of comments, which I appreciate. All you guys that leave comments and kind of give us your opinion, you kind of opened my eyes to some things. So I appreciate that. If you're listening, hit that thumbs up, but also leave us a comment because I love to get your opinions on this thing. And people were talking about, Kevin Steele and the drama with Gus Malzahn and how he kind of almost Fulmer-like involved in the drama there. But then also there is some Game of Thrones type stuff going on in Knoxville. And you're crazy if you don't think that that's true. There is no way. I'm sorry. There is no way. You can VFL this, VFL that. Auburn's going to pay him. Tennessee's getting a good deal. All that's fine and dandy. There is some Game of Thrones 4D chess moves being made in Knoxville right now. You are absolutely crazy if you don't think somebody told Kevin Steele, well, we don't know what's going to come out of this investigation, but if Jeremy Pruitt's out, we may need an interim for a year, or maybe you're the head coach in waiting. There is something going on down there because I still don't understand how Kevin Steele ended up in Knoxville during the current state of everything going on down there.
I know. I don't know if I've ever seen a program hire a coach when the head coach is under and the whole program is under investigation internally. And there's so much questions whether or not Pruitt is going to be back. And then you hire a coach. But, with the way that they released the statement and everything, I mean, it didn't say that Tennessee hired Kevin Steele. I mean, it said Jeremy Pruitt hired Kevin Steele. And from everything that I've read, him and Kevin Steele are really good friends, close. Pruitt wanted him. I mean, it makes you believe that Jeremy Pruitt was the one that made this hire. And if that's the case, I mean, it would be stupid of Tennessee at this point in time then to let go of him, in my opinion, because then, like I was just saying earlier, I mean, you are forcing the next head coach to take Kevin Steele.
Yeah, because you would be crazy to bring him in, and this is something we've touched on multiple times. It's going to be a multi-year deal. He's not going to come in. Yeah. He's not coming in for 1 year, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Again, tomorrow is, in my opinion, the biggest day in the head coaching career of Jeremy Pruitt. Everything is going to be laid out.
So do you think that we'll find anything out, like, say, this time tomorrow? Or is it going to be one of those things that we just don't know? We just don't know.
I don't think it's going to come out tomorrow because they're going to have the interviews tomorrow. Then they're going to go back and have meetings and discussions. And I'm assuming, based on what Swain has said, based on what Hubbs and those guys have said, that we're looking at probably 48 hours after tomorrow, maybe sometime this weekend. But everybody listening, look, Talkin VAWLS is on standby. We're hoping that the basketball game against Vanderbilt takes place and JP and Dauber go live for the post-game show. But look, basketball's on the back burner. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. If news breaks, we will throw the basketball game out the window. We will go live with a live show for the football. Just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we'll let you guys know as soon as we know. We do have a little bit of positive news, I guess, and then we'll go into some of the transfer stuff. But with Kevin Steele coming, and then I mentioned Garner in my video yesterday, and then today it comes out. I guess you've seen what happened. Apparently, he pulled a Lane Kiffin. He packed his office and left. Didn't tell anybody. He just packed up and left. So Garner is on the market. Yeah,
because, well, I mean, all that I'd honestly seen is that Tracy Rocker is coming to or is going to Auburn. So that automatically, as the defensive line coach, so that automatically assumes that Garner's gone. But reports is that he's definitely gone, that he's packed up.
Yeah, that came out before the Rocker news. Like Garner, gotcha. They had a team meeting, a coaches meeting, and Garner didn't show up. He packed his office and hit the road, Lane Kiffin style. You would like to think, his relationship was still, you would hope. Yeah, it's a guy you need in Knoxville. That's a guy that you want in Knoxville.
I mean, you talk about like just absolutely just backing into two really good assistant coaches. If there's some way that Jeremy Pruitt survives this investigation and he ends up with Kevin Steele and Rodney Garner on his coaching staff this year, that would just be, you couldn't ask for anything better than that, especially considering the circumstances that's around this program, and all of us thinking that there was no way, if he is staying, that he's pretty much a lame duck coach, and good luck trying to find any assistant coach worth anything to jump on board. But Garner is just a heck of a coach and heck of a recruiter, and if he can end up in Knoxville, that would be tremendous. Could he potentially pull Big Cat Williams? I would think so. And I think I saw this morning where Auburn's best defensive back, supposedly he was considering going to the NFL, but now he's in the transfer portal. So who knows? And everybody that follows Tennessee football knows that we need help at corner for sure, especially with Bryce Thompson declaring for the draft.
Yeah, and that's something we can kind of go into. Also, Wanya Morris, it was rumored, and then today it sounds like it's official that he is going into the transfer portal. A lot of guys checking out. And I don't, I know he had his rough moments this season, but at the same time, those are big shoes to fill when you look at that roster. And then also Schamberger entered the portal, but then he's right back out of the portal. I say this a lot, but it is going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out, because with Big Cat, and then I think there are going to be more players from Auburn. If you pull Steele and Garner both, I think you're going to see more players from Auburn come available. You've got Hooker coming in from Virginia Tech. And then also, is there going to be a possibility that they can somehow grab Gilbert? Do you think there's any chance at all, or do you think that's going to be Georgia?
Based on the direction of those two programs, Tennessee and Georgia, and the way that the programs are going, I think that you definitely would have to put money on Georgia. But it sounds like that at least he's been in contact with some of the Tennessee coaches and so forth like that, and Harrison Bailey and everything. So who knows? Who knows what these kids are going to do? But that's why it's so important that I think Tennessee is going to have to make a move one way or the other. They need to make a move on this, and they need to get something done. So whether it's Pruitt or whether it's Kevin Steele or whoever as the head coach, they need to start planning for 2021 in spring practice and trying to close out this recruiting class, because Tennessee's got five spots open, and you would think that they're going to look to take those transfers. But that brings up a whole nother point, Boogie, is the NCAA has still not approved this. So what's going to happen with these kids?
Yeah.
If the NCAA ends up saying no, that they're not going to approve these one-time transfers, then these kids have the option of sitting out 2021, or they have the option of coming back to their school, I guess, if their school takes them. Now, there's a report out that Tennessee has already removed Wanye's financial aid. So it sounds like that he's done. Sounds like that there's no coming back for him. And I guess that's what's sad about all this deal with these kids. There's a ton of kids in that transfer portal. There's going to be a lot of kids that played college football last year at the Power 5 level that aren't going to be playing college football at the Power 5 level in come the fall, because there's just not going to be a space for them. There's just way too many kids.
Yeah, what's crazy, I think Hub said on their Tuesday podcast that there were 89 quarterbacks in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
89 quarterbacks. And it's like you're alluding to there with the NCAA. These kids are making these decisions based on the fact that they think that one-time transfer rule is going to be in effect. And now here we are we don't know if that's the case.
No, and we've said it many times. I know I have. I don't trust the NCAA for nothing.
No,
I mean, we've seen it over and over and over. They will do some of the strangest decisions, and they don't get in a hurry for anything either. So, I think there's going to be a lot of these players, and unless they are a grad transfer, I think that it could end up biting them. But quickly on Wanye, to me, what's happened to Wanye Morris is the entire problem with the University of Tennessee football program for the last 12 years. Here you get a kid that, could have probably basically went to any university that he wanted to, was a highly regarded offensive lineman, came in to Tennessee. He could have went to Auburn, he could have went to Georgia, all of these places. No, but he wanted to kind of, go out on his own, have a chance to play early. Well, what happens? Because of all of the crap that's went on down there in Knoxville and all the bad decisions that's been going on, the kid had to come in his freshman year, and he gets thrown into the starting role. He's not ready to play. He improves. He shows an improvement. He does better. And then this year rolls around, combine that with, and I'll say it, terrible coaching. Will Friend done a terrible job with that offensive line, absolutely horrible. And the next thing you know, the kid loses his starting job. He ends up being the jumbo tight end. And you could tell right then, when he's been regulated to the jumbo tight end, that things aren't looking well. And now here he is. 2 years later, he goes from what many people thought was going to be the cornerstone of Tennessee's offensive line as the left tackle to now he's out of the program. And it's just we've seen so many of those kids like that over the last 12 years, where it's a combination of poor coaching, a combination of the leadership, a combination of just the culture down there, that for whatever reason, a combination of those, that these kids just don't pan out. And, Wanye Morris, I hope wherever he transfers to, I hope that he balls out, and hope he ends up making it in the NFL,
Yep. And that's why, recruiting is important, but player development is more important, because
Yeah.
if you don't do anything with these kids when they get there, you let Wanya Morris down. You let him down. You didn't deliver. You didn't hold up to your end of the bargain. And it's unfortunate. And that's why, a lot of people are like, well, it's a 5-year rebuild. You need more time. 3 years, man. 3 years is it. If you're not seeing progress in 3 years, if this coaching staff starts letting down these kids after 3 years, then we see what we're getting now with Johnson hitting the transfer portal, Chandler hitting the transfer portal, Schamberger in and out, JG, he's gone, JT Shrout's gone. Look at that quarterback room. It's empty, because these kids are moving on, and it is what it is, man. It's unfortunate. And if Pruitt's back next year, if he is clean and he's back and he's got Kevin Steele and he brings in Gardner and they make the right moves and he learns, maybe he will be the guy. And like we've said multiple times, we will all sit here and eat a big old plate of crow, but we'll all be happy, because all we want is for Tennessee to succeed. That's it.
Right.
But all I can base my opinion of Jeremy Pruitt on is what he's done on the field. And 3-7 in year 3 doesn't cut it. But we got to wrap this thing up. Just another short update from myself and Vols JP. Anytime somebody says, let's make a video, I'm down to get on and talk a little Vol football. Again, make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. Also, if you are not, please subscribe to the channel. We are going to go live as soon as news breaks, one way or the other, with Jeremy Pruitt. We'll keep you guys up to date on the coaching hires. Any more players hit the portal, anything like that, we will let you guys know. But that's going to wrap this thing up. For Vols JP, I'm Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.